Hello, myself Namisha Goswami. You are welcome in online series of Design of Machine Element. So in this lecture, we will discuss about basic of helical gears and we will understand designing procedure of helical gear by using one numerical example. So first of all, what is helical gear? So you can see here in this diagram, teeth are not parallel to axis of shaft, right? Teeth are at some inclination, they are at some angle with respect to axis of shaft. So these type of gears are known as helical gears. And these, what is the use of this gear? Helical gear. So helical gears are used to connect to parallel shaft in place of spur gear, but difference is only teeth are not parallel to shaft axis. Function is same as spur gear, but there is a difference between in the inclination of teeth with respect to shaft axis. So now there are basic some terminology is used in case of helical gear. So there is helix angle, axial pitch, and different terminology will come in case of helical gear. So first is helix angle. So what is helix angle? You can see here in this diagram, shaft axis is there. Okay. So what is helix angle? Angle which is made by teeth of helical gear with respect to shaft axis. Means if shaft axis is this and teeth are at some angle, so this portion or this area is known as helix angle and it is denoted by alpha. Now what is axial pitch? So axial pitch, it is a distance parallel to the axis between similar faces of adjacent teeth. Okay, so you can see here axial pitch and circular pitch. So circular pitch is denoted by PC and axial pitch is same as in the case same as that of your circular pitch. So here you can see here the distance between two adjacent teeth but in parallel direction, not in normal plane. So this is known as your axial pitch. Next is normal pitch. So what is normal pitch? When we will take distance between similar faces of between two consecutive teeth, or you can say that distance between similar faces of adjacent teeth along a helix on pitch is known as your normal pitch. So what is relation between normal pitch? So normal pitch is given by Pn. Now what is the relation between normal pitch and axial pitch? So you can see here normal pitch is denoted by Pn and axial pitch is denoted by Pc. So Pn is equal to Pc into cos alpha. This is relation. You can better understand by this diagram. Here Pn is indicated your normal pitch, Pc is your simple axial or circular pitch, and alpha is here your helix angle. Now next is phase width of helical gear. So there is a relation between phase width and helix angle and your simple circular pitch or axial pitch. So phase width is denoted by small b and its value is 1.15 Pc divided by 10 alpha. So there is a relation. And what is the b? b is equal to minimum phase width required in case of helical gear, and m is here your module and alpha is here your helix angle. Next is formative or equivalent number of teeth for helical gears. So this is important point. So how to define your formative or equivalent number of teeth? So you can define it. It is a number of teeth that can be generated on surface of cylinder which is having radius equal to the radius of curvature at a point at the tip of minor axis of ellipse. So this is the particular definition of formative or equivalent number of teeth. So how you will define it mathematically? So mathematically T is equal to T divided by cos Q alpha. So here T is your equivalent number of teeth. T is equal to actual number of teeth on a helical gear, and alpha is your helix angle. So here is one numerical problem you can see on your screen. So a pair of helical gears are to be transmitted 15 kilowatt. So this is, what is the kilowatt? So it's indicate your power to be transmitted during the operation or during the working condition of machine, right? Now teeth are 20-degree stub in diametral plane. So what is the mean by 20-degree? Means your pressure angle is 20-degree, but which type of? This is the stub in behavior, you can say that, right? And have a helix angle of 45-degree. So what is alpha? Alpha is here indicating 45-degree. The pinion runs at 10,000 RPM and has 80 mm pitch dia. Okay, so this is the particular case of pinion. So what is the condition? Pinion is rotating 10,000 RPM, and what is the diameter of pinion? This is your 80 mm, right? Next is for gear. So gear having 320 mm pitch diameter, and RPM of gear is not given, right? If the gears are made of cast steel, means if gears are made of cast steel, means both pinion and gear are made of same material of cast steel. Okay, because here no other material given for the pinion and for the gear. Here it's indicating clearly gears are, means pinion and gear both are made of cast steel, right? Having allowable static strength of 100 megapascal. So what is the allowable strength? This is equal to 100 megapascal. Determine a suitable module. You have to find out, first thing module, second phase width from static strength consideration, and check gears for wear. Given endurance strength, here sigma ES is your endurance strength, and this is equal to 618 megapascal. So first of all we will write down the given data, and then we will write down what you have to find, and then we will follow procedure, right? So first of all, given in question I have explained each and everything, what is given, what you have to find. Just here check whether I have written data in a proper manner, right? So power is equal to 15 kilowatt, so this is equal to 15 into 10 to power 3 watt, right? Pressure angle 20-degree, helix angle 45, and P is indicating for pinion and G is indicating for gear. So NP and DP is given, data is here. DZ, diameter of gear, is given 320 mm, so we will convert in meter, 0.32 meter, right? Allowable strength of gear and pinion is equal to what? 100 megapascal. So this is equal to 100 Newton per mm square. Similarly, sigma ES is equal to 618 megapascal, and we have to find out module and phase width. So now we are taking M is indicating module and V is indicating your phase width in mm, right? So what is the procedure? So first of all, both gear and pinion are made of same material, okay? So when both the gears are made of same material, so we always consider that pinion is weaker, okay? So remember one thing, if both gear and pinion will be made of same material, so which one will be the weaker? So weaker will always pinion, okay? So on weaker portion we always do the design procedure. So thus, so here I have a note there, you can see here, since both pinion and gears are made of same material, cast steel, so therefore pinion is weaker, right? So thus the design will be based upon on pinion. So first of all, we have to find out torque transmitted during operation. So power is given, right? So what is the relation between power and torque? So power is equal to 2 pi NT divided by 60. Okay. When you will change the direct data from right to left, so you will get here torque is equal to P into 60 divided by 2 pi NP, because we are designing on based of pinion. So here we will consider RPM for pinion, right? Now I will put all values in this equation and we will get, after solving this equation, we will get 14.32 Newton meter, means 14.32 Joule. So this is your torque, right? Next is, after finding out your torque, you have to find out load on tooth, or you can say that tangential tooth load on pinion. So WT is equal to, what is the relation between torque and load? So this is important factor. So torque is equal to load multiplied by diameter divided by 2, or you can say that torque is equal to load multiplied by radius. Simple. Okay. So here WT is equal to torque divided by RP, or RP is equal to dP by 2. So I will put this value, we will get tangential load. So this is equal to 358 Newton. Now find out the number of teeth on pinion. So TP is equal to, it's not given, DP is given, RPM is given. So how to find out is, so what is the relation between TP and DP? So TP is equal to dP divided by M, or you can say that module is equal to diameter divided by number of teeth. Simple. Okay. So here TP is equal to dP divided by M, and what is the DP? DP is 80. So we will put this value here. So you will get TP. Now next thing, because we are designing helical gears, so direct number of teeth we can't take in designing. We have to find out equivalent number of teeth in case of helical gear. Always when we are going to design a helical gear, you have to find out your equivalent number of teeth, right? So T is equal to TP divided by cos Q alpha. So we will put this value, we have value of TP is equal to 80 divided by N divided by cos Q 45 degree, or you can transfer this cos Q alpha in upper side, so it will be sec Q alpha. So you can put direct value, so you will get your TE, right? So T is equal to 226.4 divided by M. Now what is tooth form factor? Why we are finding all these value? Because we have to put all these data in Levy's equation, or you can say that beam strength of gear. Okay, so that's why it is necessary to find all these data. So tooth form factor for 20 degree stub teeth, this is the standard value, you can remember it. So this is equal to 0.175 minus 0.841 divided by T. So when we will put the value of T, so you will get your Y dash P, tooth form factor for helical gear. Now, what is the peripheral velocity, or simple velocity, or you can say that rubbing velocity? So what is the rubbing velocity? It is denoted by V, and this is equal to pi d n by 60. Now, I have put it here dP and NP because we are taking all values for your pinion. So that's why we will put the value for the pinion here. So linear velocity is equal to pi into dP into NP divided by 60. Okay, after putting this value, we will get 42 meter per second. So rubbing velocity is equal to 42 meter per second. Now next step is we have to find out velocity factor. So what is the velocity factor? Here you can see that velocity is greater than 20. Okay, so formula for the velocity factor will be 0.75 divided by 0.75 plus under root of V. When we will put all these values, so you will get your velocity factor. This is equal to 0.104. Okay. And what is the next step? Next step, we have find out tangential load. Okay. And we have also find out all data for Levy's equation. So in Levy's equation, what will happen? Tangential load is equal to Levy's equation. Okay, so that you have to now, these two are in equilibrium condition, so you have to put the value in Levy's equation. So here you can see that, you can see here I have put it this tangential tooth load WT. What was the value? 358, right? Newton. So this is equal to sigma OP multiplied by velocity factor. multiplied by phase width multiplied by pi multiplied by module multiplied by your, what is the y dash p? So here you can see that y dash p is your tooth form factor. Okay, so I will put all values here and we will taking B phase width is equal to 12.5 times of module, right? So here we will put the all values in terms of module. So we will get this equation. Finally, simplify equation we will get is 72 meter square minus, 72 m square. M is indicating for module, not for meter. Minus 1.5 m cube. Okay, so this is the equation. When we will solve this equation by hit and trial method, so we will get it m is equal to 2.3 or 2.5. Okay, and what is the phase width? So phase width is equal to 12.5 of m module. So you will put all values, so b is equal to 32 m, right? Now checking, it was the first case. So in question, module and phase width was unknown. So these two data we have already find out. Now we have to check gears for bear. Okay, for bearing condition, first of all there is a standard formula, you can check by it. So first of all you have to find out velocity ratio. So what is the velocity ratio? So this is equal to diameter of gear divided by diameter of pinion, or either number of teeth on pinion divided by number of teeth on gear. So here we have diameter. So by using this diameter you can find out velocity ratio. So velocity ratio is equal to 4. Next step is, what is the ratio factor? So first of all, to find out ratio factor, we have to find out pressure angle in normal plane. So pressure angle is denoted by phi, but pressure angle at normal plane is denoted by phi n. Okay, so tan phi n is equal to tan phi multiplied by cos alpha. So this is again a standard equation. You have to remember this equation. So when we will put all these data, phi, so phi is here, pressure angle. So what was the pressure angle? Pressure angle was 20 degree given in question, right? Second thing is alpha. Alpha is here helix angle. So helix angle is given in question is 45 degrees. So I will put all these value and then we can find out pressure angle in normal plane. So this is equal to 14.4 degree. Okay. Next is we required, what we required? E. Okay, so what is the E? Young modulus of elasticity. So for cast steel, its value is constant, that is equal to 200 kilonewton per mm square. Okay, so by using these factor, we will find out load stress factor. So again, what is the load stress factor? It is denoted by capital K. This is again a standard equation. You have to remember this equation, right? So K is equal to sigma ES whole square multiplied by sine of phi n divided by 1.4 multiplied by 1 upon EP plus 1 upon EG. So what is the E? E is equal to Young modulus of elasticity. For cast steel material, its value is 200 kilonewton per mm square. So you can put this value, so you will get load stress factor. Now, what is the maximum? What is the next step? We have find out one by one all parameters. Okay. So next step is we will find out maximum or limiting load for wear. Means what is the value come for in load condition or in wear condition. If this value is greater than given load, so what will happen? What will happen? Our design is not safe and it will be failed out. Okay. So here WW is equal to dPBQK divided by cos square alpha. Okay. So this is equal to 80 multiplied by 32 multiplied by 1.6 multiplied by K 0.678 divided by cos square 45 degree or cos square alpha. So alpha is 45 degree. So you can see here its value is 5554 Newton, or you can say that 5.5 kilonewton. Okay. So you can see here maximum load for wear is much more than comparison to your tangential load. So what is the value for the tangential load? Here you can see that tangential load was 358 Newton. Okay. And here wear load is 5.5 kilonewton, or you can say that 5554 Newton. So 5554 is much greater than of your 358 Newton. So you can say that your design is safe. If WW is equal to less than of 358 Newton, then your design will be not okay. But in this case, WW is greater than WT, or wear load is greater than tangential load. So your design is safe. Thank you.